G'day, let's have a look at this Fluke 62 Max Plus infrared thermometer. As the name suggests, this is an infrared, so it's contactless. It's got a little sensor inside there that will read any sort of heat emission emitted by an object and convert that into a temperature reading. So we can see that there. I can read my hand or I can read the workbench there, and it changes the temperature really nice and quick. So it's got these two lasers as well that point to where you're taking that temperature. And the really neat thing about that is it's got two of them, so one at the top and one at the bottom. And we'll see if that shows up. And if you're really close, they're perfectly vertical, but then as you pull it further away, they start to rotate. So at about half a meter away, you can see that they are almost horizontal. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the reason that they did that for was, but I think that's there is because you can then, if you remember what it is, what the orientation is, you can then roughly guesstimate the distance. So as I sort of said, that they were looking at about half a meter away. And why that might be important is because of the ratio of this. So I think it's up here. So it's up here. So the further away that you are measuring something, the bigger the actual spot is that you're measuring. So if you're measuring it really close, you're just measuring a small area. But if you measure it from a few meters away, as that'll increase, the field of view of the sensor is a little bit, so that distance sort of spreads, and then you're just taking a bigger surface. So that's why it's handy having the two lasers, because they do also get bigger, or the space between them does get bigger as you go further away. And who doesn't like lasers? We've got two of them, so that's really nice. The whole unit has this really nice rubbery overmold. So we've got just a plastic case, nothing too special about that. And then everything around in this yellow color has a really nice grippy feel to it. So it's really easy to hold, sits very nice in the hand. And then you've got that trigger there to turn it on, which is just a single stage trigger, but you don't need anything else for this. Really nice backlight there as well. It's lit up blue. There's a whole bunch of options that you can set and obviously change it Celsius, Fahrenheit. You can turn that backlight on and off. You can also select how long it stays on and so on. And then on the back here, we just have a little hook through this rubber. You can hook this onto something and actually have it hooked so you don't lose it. It is also waterproof. I think it's got IP54 rating, so water and dust resistant. Okay, not proof. And I think you can also drop it from a couple of meters. It's also got a 3-meter drop as well. So this thing will take a beating, chuck it in your toolbox, and you don't have to worry about it. Nothing bad's going to happen to it. It is just powered. I think it's actually, we'll have a look, but it's just powered by a single AA battery. So we just got a single AA battery in there. So the whole thing works on that 1.5 volt from it. As I said, that comes off there pretty nice, and then there's just a compartment for the battery in there. We've got a really nice seal around, so all the way around here there's a really nice O-ring. Can't really, there we go. So really nice O-ring all the way around to seal that battery compartment up, and then this bottom plate here has a nice groove going around to actually sandwich onto that and provide that little bit of extra pressure. So there's just 3 screws here that I can see. So I'll undo them and let's actually have a look at what's in there. Alright, so that front cover comes off really nicely. There was 2 extra screws hidden up the top under this little sticker. We've got a nice screen there. That seems quite thick. I'd say that's a couple of millimeters thick. And it does have a few scratches on there that you can sort of see at the right angle there. I haven't abused this thing, but I haven't been very careful with keeping it nice and scratch free. So it has gotten a little bit scratch. It doesn't really matter. It's good. That screen there seems pretty tough and is just good there to protect it. Then the other thing we've got is just these buttons here. So they just come through on this side. They are just a hard rubber with that black little tip. That's just going to be coated in a conductive material. So that conductive material will press onto these exposed contacts, and it'll just bridge that gap in between that, and then that'll short circuit that little bit, and then that's how the thing knows you've pressed a button and taken that input in. And then in the handle here, so where you actually hold it, we've just got this slot for a battery. So just one connector on one side, and then this connector here seems to be soldered straight to the PCB. These exposed contacts here are most likely there for either programming the board or for any sort of troubleshooting. So you can just put a multimeter or an oscilloscope on that and then measure any sort of signals that come from the board. The that's about it. We got that PCB, so there's a few more screws here to actually take that PCB off. So I'll keep digging in. Okay, so that all comes apart very nicely. This is the whole bottom case. So again, we've got just that hard plastic on the inside. Quite nicely done, not really any sharp edges. Seems fairly smooth on that tooling. And then all the way around, you can see we've got that very nice O-ring as well. Just there, I can pry that out a little bit, just to pry that really nice seal all the way around. And then on the outside of that, we can see all of this yellow over-molded rubbery plastic or rubbery feel to it. So that's it. What I just pulled out of this is just the trigger. So that it's just a plastic bit and that sits inside, and then we just have this spring providing back pressure to it. And also, just a couple of screws falling out. And also here we've got this really nice rubbery pad that goes all the way around, and that's just going to be there for a material ingress protection, so for that water resistant rating. And then when the trigger is actually pressed, this little dimple in the middle, that'll just push up against the center of that membrane within the spring, and that little black bit there will just get pushed out. And then that's just going to be pushed onto a button on the motherboard, which we can look at now. So this is basically the whole assembly that does everything. And then we just have the battery sitting on the side. So it's nice. It's kind of all in that one piece or mounted to that one bit. So good to see. Now the big thing we can start with is this here. So that's the actual thermopile that takes the measurement. So within that, there's going to be a whole bunch of little thermocouples. And what they are is they're just two different metals joined together in an intersection, and then as that center bit receives radiation, the two metals will expand and change differently, and that will just produce a different voltage or a different resistance within that to the voltage that is then passed through it. So that's how the computer actually measures the temperature of something. So everything that is hot, everything that is above 0 Kelvin emits a little bit of radiation. The hotter is, the more radiation it emits. And this sensor in here would just be picking that radiation up with the expansion and contraction of those metals in that junction. That voltage resistance is going to be changing, and the microcontroller will be picking that up in here. So that's what that is. I think this is metal. It feels a bit cold to the touch, and it's got a metallic sound. So I think the outside case of this would be metal. And then there's just a lens in here that just protects anything from getting in there or scratching that surface. Then what we've got on the side, so this white ring around it, that's where the two lasers are. So we've got the first one there and the second one there, and they're just held in place. It's actually a really neat way it's done. So the little laser module, it just sits right in that white case, and then it just has probably just a little driver attached to it, and then that whole thing is sort of shaped almost like a ball. It's almost like a ball joint, so where that points can change. So I think what they do is they put this inside, and then we can see a bit of glue on the side there as well. So I'm not sure if that will show up on camera, but you can see a little bit of reflection, maybe this way, a little bit of reflection within that joint. There's a little bit of shininess there. So that's just the glue. So I imagine they pre-make this module, then slap it in, get the right angle of whatever they want with that rotation that we saw, and then they glue it in place. So I can see, again, I'm not sure this will come up on camera, but I can see that laser is at a slight angle to that actual thermopile in the middle. And so is this one as well. It's got that little bit of a tilt sort of down and to the right. So that's going to be how they get that rotation in it. It's interesting they didn't just injection mold this whole part and pre-design it with that specific angle, that they actually went to the effort of making this pivoting joint or this sort of ball joint and then putting it in and gluing it. But that might be because different models of this might have straight lasers or different configurations of the lasers, and it may have actually just been cheaper to produce this and then set them per different model. And then if we just look at this PCB, so the whole thing is just mounted to a PCB. So that PCB has actually got a hole here in the middle where that thermopile comes through, and it's most likely just mounted on the other side, probably next to the screen. As far as that PCB is concerned, there's not all that much to it. We've just got the power coming in, so we've got positive by this wire, and then we've got negative just coming straight up there. A little capacitor, and then we've got a push button. So that push button there would be for the trigger. So that would sit on it and actually push in. Next to that, we just have a little inductor, a capacitor, a little chip, so that's probably going to be a voltage regulator, and then a couple of other smaller regulators, resistors, capacitor, another little bit up the top here. So what I would imagine is this would be regulating the voltage to a really precise level and taking out a lot of that rippling. So all of these capacitors would take out any sort of noise, although the supply from a battery is usually pretty stable with DC batteries, but there is still a little bit of ripple. There might even be some temperature adjustment on this as well. I can't really see any thermistors or anything like that, but maybe there is something inside that actually adjusts this for temperature. And then all of that stuff is really just supporting components for the microcontroller, which is just there. You might be able to read that part number on it as well. But that's just going to be the microcontroller that's going to be doing all the processing. So shooting out the power, turning the lasers on, reading the input from the thermocouplers that are inside the thermopile, and then that's going to be outputting whatever results onto the screen, which we've got here. So it's just a standard LCD screen, nothing fancy to it. We've got 2 layers of glass that just sandwich a layer of liquid crystals inside. That's got a polarizing layer on it, and then as current is applied onto those crystals, they will change orientation and that polarization will change. So we'll actually be able to see those dark spots. So that's all that's to it. We've just really got these components here, which would hope would be quite nice and high quality one, because this is not cheap. Fluke is known to have very good precise components, so I wouldn't imagine there'd be any really easy point of failures or anything like that. I think they would use high quality components, and the way this is all built and mounted into the case is really good to see. It's protected really well all the way around. The only thing is this doesn't have any sort of damping, so if you do drop this, again it is rated for 3 meters, so if you do drop this, the outside case will absorb a little bit, but all of that vibration is going to come through to this PCB and this whole measuring assembly. Maybe it would have been nice to see a couple of little dampers as this is mounted to the case, just to provide a little bit of extra damping. But again, obviously Fluke has done a lot of development on this, and they obviously decided not to need it because it's good enough as is. So alright, I think we'll leave it there for today. So thanks very much for watching. Hit that like button if you want to see more of this sort of cool stuff. Consider subscribing. But have a great day.